before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
60% of the time, it works every time.
Does thinking you're the last sane man on the face of the earth make you crazy?
You wanna hold her?
Yes.
Please?
Yes.
Then you got to try a little tenderness.
It's the Al Travis Show, and we love having him when you get him. Our next guest is Senator Jim Abeler. Senator, how are you, my friend?
It's a beautiful day to just to be near Al Travis. In my dreams, this is to what I aspire. This is like the highlight of anybody's day, perhaps even the week.
See, and he says this knowing full well that if anybody watched us on the YouTube, Al Travis Show YouTube page, this is a guy talking in front of a green Muppet. I don't understand what it's interesting to me to watch what people put in their offices. You've got a green Muppet of some sort, so I take it with a grain of salt.
There you go. And some people think that legislators are merely puppets, and so maybe that's my reaction. Like, maybe I'm not. So,
just truth in advertising with folks who don't know. Back when I did Between the Lines, the television show, we'd have Senator Abeler come on a pretty regular basis because he was the bigwig on the Human Services Committee, and you invited me out to do a show at Haven for Heroes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
In Anoka. And at the time, I probably shouldn't share too much, but I will. I thought you were a lunatic. You took me out there, we're shooting the show, and you have these massive old army buildings that have been just neglected. I mean, there's nothing in them. And you're wandering us around showing us, and this could be the men's house, and they're going to have rooms in the thing, and all we got to do is put a roof on and put this wall back in because it's falling off the building. And you wandered through, like, in your head, it was done. Don't worry about it. They were going to just do this and do this. I'm looking at it. We have video of it. I should take that out sometime. I thought you're crazy. I said, there's no way this all gets done. You were working your butt off. You're getting volunteers. And literally, I suppose it's been 4 or 5 years now. Where are you at with Haven for Heroes? Because this is an absolute success story.
Well, it's a miracle of God, actually. Looking back, I thought I was crazy just thinking about it. So these buildings were derelict. They were 20,000 square foot, 4-story buildings that were part of the old state hospital out there at Anoka State Hospital. And so they've been literally empty for 20 years and just allowed nature to take its course. And they were horrible. They winterized them by turning off the lights. And so with the building that we got going, had 50 fractures in the pipes. But 400 people came together in 56 days. And just by literally, the people were drawn to us, like just really by the Lord. It's like, there's no other way to explain it. And we raised just enough money to get it going. And within 56 days, we had veterans housed there on December 1st in time for the cold. And 400 people came, so it's a tribute, well, to miracles in the Lord, but it's a tribute to good people who decide they do care about their veterans. And when we talked to the city, we said, don't give us any money. I'm sure people will come, or they won't. If they don't, well, then we'll not do this. But it's amazing. And, the veterans who are getting more, respect these days, thanks to the Vietnam vets. When they came back, the groups after that, they said that we're not doing that anymore to our people. They were treated so badly. But actually, the Vietnam vets were the core of what got this work done. And so God bless the veterans, and God bless the Lord. And
give us an update. There's the first building. You knew that in 56 days. And again, people, there are photos online, havenforheroesmn.org. You will not understand it. But it isn't a one building deal. It wasn't one and out. And I don't know if you bought it from the hospital itself, how you guys got the money to buy them, but isn't it 3 or 4 buildings? There's a women's version. I mean, you guys, this is a whole campus now,
right?
We
just completed our 3rd building. There's one for the women, and then one for a step down facility where it's going to be a little more intensive. And so St. Cloud and other veterans, 45-day programs, they come in, they clean up, and then they go back without housing. So they go back to their old place, and it's 20% successful. This will be a place for them to come and settle in and have 6 months to a year where they can stabilize and work with their band of brothers. And, there's some things that work. And ironically, this is private, and the government has nothing to do with it. So,
But you did, and that's how we met, and that's why I kind
yeah,
of fell in love with you. And I'm like, again, I thought you were nuts. When you said I got to come and see this place, I'm like, okay, bring the cameras, we'll shoot something. Certifiably nuts, and I see it now, and I know what Da Vinci was crazy too. It's guys like you that make this stuff happen. And again, give God all the credit in the world, but he put crazy people like you that can just see it and say, "We'll make it happen," and come join the team or don't. I can't imagine the number of work hours. You probably have some number. The number of man hours that put in to change that building into a livable place for people that need help.
Yeah, 400 people times, I don't know what number, a lot.
Yeah, a ton. So anyway, I thank you for that. I want people to look at it. Haven for the number heroesmn.org. Go take a look around. It is unbelievable. So that's how you and I call us friends. I'll call you my friend. I respect the living heck out of you. Let's talk some work now. Your name was invoked in this program earlier today, so I would like you to comment on it. Senator Hoffman, the head of the DHS Now committee, he said, because he has to evidently cut $750 million according to the powers that be, and how hard that is and what he doesn't want to cut. But he invoked your name. He said, but a few years back, and he said the year, I don't remember. Senator Abeler, Senator Abeler had to cut $2 billion. And that come out of a much smaller overall budget. This is a $71 million budget, and they're going to cut $750 million. You had to cut $2 billion. And he said you had many sleepless nights trying to figure out how to do that too. I think he said 4 months.
And we were broke. The big recession had happened, and it finally caught up with state revenues. And so, we had to cut nearly $2 billion in our proposal. Wound up cutting $1 billion at the end. And if people want to read my op-ed I wrote about it, it's in the Star Tribune a few months ago. Just search Abeler at the Star Tribune, and you'll see an op-ed from February or something, talking about how that worked. It was a very collegial atmosphere with Governor Dayton and Commissioner Elgal.
I remember.
My mind's going blank, but it was just really remarkable how we sat in the room and we all worked together. I'll think of her name in a minute.
But now, when you say that, isn't that
these days we're nowhere near that level of collegiality these days. We've got, the governor who's busy running around doing everything but be in Minnesota, eating alligator soup in West Virginia, and a really strong, harsh rhetoric with Republicans and Democrats. 2 years of a trifecta where they did everything they wanted, and ignoring the Republicans. And so that's a harder place to be. And plus, but commend Senator Hoffman for his commitment to people with disabilities. And some of these jobs people have to do are really hard.
Yeah,
they're really hard, and but what people have a hard time doing here is prioritizing. I coined the phrase essential, important, and nice. Some things you got to do: nursing homes, hospitals. Some things are important. We need roads, and some projects are just kind of nice ones. And when push comes to shove, you really got to draw a line and say, we're going to go after what's essential. People cannot do that here these days.
Well, let me ask you the camaraderie about this. Like you say, they had everything for 2 years, so everybody's kind of
Cindy Jessen. That's who the commissioner was. So good friend.
And there it is.
Yeah.
Where are we as far as how this will work? You mentioned the governor's not around. Is that not better for this portion of the program? And I mean this in that he's not in there mucking up one more cook in the kitchen. I presume you and your committee must be getting together with the House committee and coming up with stuff that looks the same. It has to be the same. Are you working with them, or is it all on your side, all on the House side, and then a mush together later?
Well, it would be productive for him to be rapport building with people. Yeah. I've made a great effort to reach out to him over time, and it's not been responded as well as it was with Governor Dayton, who would call me back. He called me back probably 10 times out of 13 or something when I would call his mansion, and he'd call me back. And I'm not here to bash the governor, but it's hard work. And it's, this trifecta thing got in the blood of the Democrats, frankly. I say that as a collaborator. We did shared power in the Senate for the first few weeks, and it was really quite nice. And they were down a seat. Tragically, Carrie Dietzig died, and so we had shared power, and they had co-chairs, and they actually worked along. And then the first chance they could, Doran Clark got elected, who's pretty much like Carrie, kind of a moderate Democrat out of Minneapolis, and he got elected. And within 20 minutes, he was required to take a vote to restore the majority balance. And it's like a cold front came in, and things chilled, and they went back to their old ways of doing whatever they wanted. And there's cases where it's not like that. I think the Human Services Committee is an exception. But it's and now in the House you have this divided thing, which is really better. Whatever your politics is, it's better when people have to work together.
Yeah.
And that's going to be what happens. And I don't know how the dust settles. The Senate's going to come out with raising about $2 billion in revenue, more new revenue, which is never going to stand the test of time. And the House is committed to not raising taxes. And so it's a collision course. So,
do you believe you've been watching this long? How long have you been in? How long have you been a senator?
26 years.
26. So you've seen
when you find a real job,
Well, when you see this, will the House, because I'm always already hearing from many of them, including the speaker, we're just 1/6 of all this that's going on. We're just 1/6 of all that's going on. And it leads me to think they're not going to hold strong. You are 1/6 of that majority, I get, of all the seats. You have the ability to stop all this in its tracks. If can she hold 67 of them together to say, no new taxes, we meant it, figure it out, or because once it goes, over time, then everybody's going to yell and scream and bad Republicans.
I guess that remains to be seen. I pray they do. And so, and people say, well, you get done by, was it May 19th?
19th,
well, we'll adjourn by then. We'll adjourn on time. But I cannot believe that we're going to complete our work then. Okay. I'm urging, if I was the king, and did you know I'm not?
I heard that.
I would urge them to solve higher ed and commerce and the parks and the DNR, get that all out of the way and leave it down to education and the health and human services topics, which are going to be the hard ones. And so I don't know. I sat through this. Very few of the senior members who are here now actually were in a position of authority. Every senior Democrat was in the hallway. If you remember, the Republicans took over in 2011, and they were not very inclusive of the Democrats at that time either. And so
these things happen.
You get to watch from the hall.
I got to go to break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about bonding. I also want to talk with the union and possible strike with MAPE. We'll talk about all that coming up. He's Senator Jim Abeler on the Al Travis Show.
All the special interests are represented in St. Paul. But who speaks for you? Center of the American Experiment does. Our policy fellows dig into the tough issues that matter to you and offer common sense solutions on education, taxes, crime, and energy. American Experiment is the trusted, nonpartisan voice of Minnesotans like you. We are working every day to make Minnesota a better, safer, more prosperous place. We are American Experiment. Go to americanexperiment.org to learn more.
Dust from livestock buildings can be harmful to your animals and to you. Coughing animals can lead to costly vet visits and other serious health problems. Now there's an environmentally safe solution for your dust problems. It's called Dust Lock. Dust Lock can control the dust all summer long with just one application. Protect your animals and your health with Dust Lock. Learn more at dustlock.com.
It's nice to know a guy that knows a guy. Al Travis.
I know him. He's Senator Jim Abeler. Love having him on the show. Senator, we don't have a lot of time left. We got a couple things I'd like to chat about. We did not get past a bonding bill last session, which would have been bonding time. Are you of the belief we need to get something done in the next 28 days other than the budget, like a bonding bill, to make up for it, or should it just wait another year? And what are your thoughts on bonding, and will it happen?
Well, I've been supportive of bonding bills in general, particularly for statewide and major regional projects.
Okay.
We've done bonding for fish museums and, little community centers, and, and that's why they get a bad rap. And, it's influence is great, especially when you have some, so you can take home your own private little tourist attraction for your little town in the middle of wherever. But there's some important work to be done. There's maintenance to do on the state college and the U buildings, and build roads and build some really key things that have to be done for the betterment of the state. And those costs, could well be spread out over time because people benefit. That's the thing. The problem is that, working together, getting things done is a slogan that remains a slogan sometimes. In 23 and 24, the Democrats had their way with us at every turn by sticking together on some really bad ideas that actually, some of them have actually read the bills. They're like, we passed that? Like, yeah, we did. We said maybe not. And so then we said, well, then can you talk to us? And maybe we can collaborate on some of these projects and improve them and make them actually work a little better. And they go like, no, but we want you to pass a bonding bill anyway. And so be nice to us and we'll help you. And you remember it ended up in chaos the last day where they passed a 1,431 page bill and over pretty much our dead bodies. And it was horrible without even it being talked out loud. So, but I think that if you could just treat both sides with the least little bit of respect, that would be a thought. And so I think if they do that, they can get a bonding bill. Just
all right.
Little treatment.
Are they misreading the room, or do they understand what the frustration you've got and they just don't care?
I think they're still misreading the room,
all right.
Particularly in the House. They don't know how to be balanced. And the Senate, they still think they're in charge. So stay tuned, I guess. It's with our last work to be done, but the best thing is to collaborate. Find the agreement areas, work on those, put your partisan way left and way right ideas away, and let's work on running Minnesota well. Let's have strong schools, safe streets, and a fiscal stability. Wouldn't that be nice?
Sounds like a dream job if you could get it. It just doesn't have that.
That's a Rahm Emanuel quote, by the way.
I've heard it before. I love that. Sir, I am out of time. We didn't get to the union thing. We'll talk about it next time. I thank you. For folks who don't know, Senator Housley couldn't be in, and she asked Senator Abeler if he'd step in. He said, you betcha. It was the easiest transition ever. I thank you for stepping up, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Travis, thank you for being the voice of truth and reason all across Minnesota. 10 stations. Should be 100. See you later. God bless.
Are nothing but a promoter. God bless you too, my friend. We'll talk.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings you its most